Hello world, Billy here again, and we're back with this one's been a while, and I apologize for that, but it's My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia. It's been a while. I just been, I guess, busy reading JJK, and I sort of just I had forsaken My Hero, but we have quite a handful of chapters to go through, so should be pretty fun. I know the anime is also doing pretty well right now with season 7, I believe. I'm not watching it, but I'm sure it's doing pretty well. Last we stopped, I believe, for 14. It was, well, before that we had sort of, well, I guess summarizing main things that happened. We had All Might fighting in his Hercules sort of Iron Man suit against One for All. Oh, sorry, against All for One, against All for One AFO, and essentially he was about to get X'd, but Bakugo came in and saved him, which is pretty neat. And Bakugo essentially awakened his quirk, where he's instead of simply secreting his sweat at his extremities, so his palms or his legs, he's basically exploding the sweat, or well, exploding the material that makes his sweat explosive within his body, so within his blood vessels, which is increasing his body temperature and allowing him to move at faster speeds, and essentially to have better reflexes and also higher responsiveness. Right now he's currently distracting the younger, still reverting younger All for One, which is pretty neat. And yeah, he's sort of the second MC now, officially the second MC, which is pretty cool. Yeah, All Might is still alive, so they sort of defied the future that Sir Night Eye had seen, which is pretty cool. I mean, still to be determined if something is still gonna happen to All Might, but for now he's safe. What else? Oh yeah, at the very, like, the last few chapters, we got the backstory of we got the backstory of All for One. Essentially, he was always someone who, even as a kid, he sort of had personality issues. He was always someone who took whatever he wanted without a care in the world. Back when, quirks were just starting to pop off. So this was not so much a nurture thing. This is mostly who he is. And his brother was, in a sense, always there to sort of balance him out. Of course, we know how that went. It didn't work, but it was nice to get some insight into his point of view just a bit. I think in 414, so I'm going to be reading 415 now, but in 414 we had Deku still fighting Shigaraki, and yeah, at the moment Shigaraki and, of course, All for One have not met, and so Shigaraki still has his will to some extent. It's a revised will, or sense of being, sense of self, but it's still him for the most part. And right now, Deku, essentially, he's lost danger sense, as well as, I believe it was, I'm not sure if it was Gear 5th. Either he lost Gear 5th or he's not able to use it because of the feedback on his body, but the plan was essentially to throw, or to get rid of, or to lose One for All, the quirks that make up One for All, by essentially throwing them as sort of quirk bombs into Shigaraki, and before Shigaraki is able to essentially dominate them and make them his own quirk, subject them to his will, the quirks themselves, their personas, the vestiges, are going to try and deal damage internally within him. And at the time, what was happening was, as the quirks entered Shigaraki, which kind of sounds odd, but as they entered Shigaraki's quirk space, Midoriya's memories and Shigaraki's memories started to blend into each other, which is sort of interesting. So there's sort of, I think we're gonna have a reoccurrence of what happened, I guess, prior to the beginning of this large-scale war. So at the very end of the Tartarus arc, when the Nomus essentially helped Shigaraki get away. But I don't know if you guys remember when Shigaraki, or I guess All for One, who was for a split second in control of Shigaraki. He tried to forcefully take one for all from Deku, and at that point, Deku was able to see into Shigaraki's, what would you call it, quirk space, or into his psyche, and he was able to see the little boy, so Tomura, I guess Tenko, if you want to say Shimura Tenko, so the original little boy, Shimura Nana's grandson, was able to see him sort of in that fetal position, just crying for someone to help him. So I think we're going to have a reoccurrence of that, where it's going to come down to a battle of the psyche, a battle of the wills, and yeah, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe Shigaraki's going to have, maybe not a change of heart, but he's going to have some kind of redemption, but I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen. Excuse me. Anyway, I've sort of blabbered on enough. Let's just jump right into 4:15. Yeah. It's been a while with Mineta, Asui, and I don't know, for some, okay, that's Shigaraki and Deku, so I guess they're assistant. For some reason, this looks like Mina Shido, her acid. Okay, yeah, so their memories are blending. So the resonance. Ida. Yeah, so that's seconds. Well, the second moniker was leader. Oh yeah, and also I guess it was pretty cool how Deku had used his blood to deceive Shigaraki when Shigaraki was using the search quirk to look for Deku. He used his blood, threw it under a cape, and basically sent him on a wild goose chase while he circled back and hit him with that Fajin punch. Yeah, so they are supporting him because Deku, I think when he punched last time, he essentially broke the gauntlet. I think they show that. So Melissa Shield's gauntlet from, I believe it was the first movie, right? The Island with 9. Yeah. So yeah, what I was trying to say is Deku's using Black Whip to essentially hold himself up because he's breaking a ton of his bones, and also his muscles are depreciating in integrity. So I guess Sui and Mineta are helping him to sort of move around. This form of his reminds me a bit of Redestra as well, right? When Redestra uses his final form with his super stressed out state. Looks like he has you know the elastic bands you use when you have braces? Oh my goodness. That stance in the punch. Oh my goodness. Something, bro. Something. Oh my goodness. That punch. So he rejected it. Wow. Yeah, he tried to send one of the quirks, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, after what happened... yeah, after what happened, he's... Because, I mean, if you think back to when All For One had taken... Well, I guess All For One, Shigaraki, when he fought Stars and Stripe. And... Well, he didn't know at the time, but obviously she had placed a rule on her quirk that it should rampage within Shigaraki when he takes it. So right now it's sort of a similar state where he has to be cautious of taking one for all, because now he's realizing that they're trying to do damage internally, so he's being wary of that. Yeah, so obviously the fingers, which have always been Shigaraki's thing, they're sort of his toughest defense. Yep, so I was sort of right. We're getting the inkling of those memories where, you know, he wanted help as a little child. So we're getting there. But yeah, his fingers they represent or they signify his toughest defense, right? So you've got this, Deku, rooting for you. Man, just imagine seeing this in person. Like, it's just the malice, the malicious intent behind this. It's like, bro. Yeah, and then my boy Gentle Villain was able to help keep the island from crashing down. And then La Brava is also helping with the, well, I guess you could say surveillance, but also recording what's happening with the heroes and the villains, and also broadcasting that to Japan and the rest of the world. Cimentos. My goodness, La Brava. Yeah, and then the support. Well, I guess these guys are the business side. They're helping to ensure that this aspect of history is also recorded, because that was something that Lady Nagant also wanted. You know, instead of hiding the atrocities instead of dark justice, why don't you just make things known? You know, let everyone see what is actually happening, so collectively society can help to reform those who are sort of on the fringe, on the edges, those who are marginalized, like Toga, for instance. It's possible that she might have been able to receive help for the effects of her quirk, which made her sort of obsessed with the blood of those she cares about, right? So this is a step in the right direction. Eri-chan. Okay, well, I'm not gonna take too much time, but yeah, so sort of a continuation of what had happened, or what was happening in 414. Deku is slowly making progress towards damaging and removing sort of the exoskeleton, that is the fingernails and the hands of Shigaraki. Eri is about to show up on the scene, but yeah, it doesn't seem like ectoplasm is gonna let her go, but we'll see what happens there. Yeah, it was a pretty quick chapter. We sort of got view of La Brava again, La Brava and Gentle Villain, and yeah, it's pretty good chapter. And I'll see y'all in 416. Peace out.